Salutations, friends. Welcome to my channel. My hair is a mess today. I'm sorry. Today's video is a little Q&A. I'm going to go through some old posts of mine, not super old, but a little bit older posts, answer some questions that I've seen. I wanted to start doing this a little bit more frequently. And also I asked you guys if there was any questions you had on my post on Thursday. So I'm going to be answering those. So if you'd like to just have a chat, talk, conversate, then let's go. Credit for this type of video has to go to Dacob, Super Dacob. I always loved, and I mean loved, the way that he interacted with his audience. Not did, but does interact with his audience. And I really wanted to interact with you guys. It's the reason why I started my channel. And so I'm not going to sit here and say that this isn't something that a lot of channels do, but this particular wanting to do this more is inspired by Super Dacob. He is one of my favorite channels. He is the best, and I mean the best channel to go to if you are looking to learn more about the history of fragrances. Specifically, think of Chanel and Dior. He has a huge passion and an incredible knowledge of Chanel. And also, he's just a wonderful personality. I think he's just absolutely true and genuine and unique. And I don't know him. I've never talked to him. My cats are making lots of noise. But definitely check out his channel. It's one of my favorites. So that's what this video is inspired by. If this kind of looks familiar, I did want to give credit where credit was due. So anyway, yeah, let's get into the video. Before I get into specific questions, I'm going to answer the one major question that I've been getting asked a lot, and it is a wonderful question that you guys ask, and I'm really appreciative that you guys are asking, and it's what's been going on with my father. Hold on, it's way too hot to wear my hair down. Way too hot. All right, so this is gonna be very informal. So, and this video is also going to be long, so just letting you guys know. To answer any of your questions regarding my family, my father has started his treatment. I live in Fort Lauderdale, which is very close to Miami. If you guys don't know where Fort Lauderdale is, it's about 10 to 15 minutes north of Miami. It's in the South Florida area. It's a destination hotspot for spring break. It's fantastic that time of year, mostly because of traffic. And my parents live about 10 minutes north of me, so I see them very regularly. So my dad's treatment is in Tampa. So that's where they're going to be for 6 weeks, and that is probably the hardest part of this for me personally, and also according to my family, one of the hardest things for that too. My dad's going to be doing a combination of radiation and chemotherapy. He's going to be doing, I believe, radiation 5 days a week and 1 day radiation and chemo. So it's going to be for 6 weeks, and then afterwards it's supposed to be completely gone, cured. That's what the doctors are hoping for. That's what we're praying for. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, the treatment in and of itself is really intensive. So the first half of the treatment isn't too bad. It's just, you know, he's really tired. He's really worn out. Obviously, the chemo is going to be really playing on his overall vitality. And he's already really tired. He hasn't really been able to eat anything in like 2 to 3 months. He's lost so much weight. And he had to get a feeding tube in because he was getting dehydrated, and he can't swallow. So it's been a really rough road to get where we are right now. But once treatment starts, once he got that feeding tube in and he was able to get the nutrients that he needed and the hydration, it looked like he improved so much. It was really great to see, but it's going to be a battle for him, most definitely, and a battle for my mom as well, and not having the support of me or my sister, or being able to see their grandkids, or, you know, my brother-in-law, who they're very close with, and my husband, whom they're very close with, being super far away. Like, we can't go visit them daily or weekly. It's really hard for us to visit. That's going to be really rough. So that's where we're at right now. Emotionally, it is harder. It's going to be harder on us emotionally anyway. For my dad, it's emotionally and physically. He's just so tired. He's been in pain for so long. He just wants this to be over. Now, something else that happened that, I mean, we've been really lucky and really blessed. The type of cancer that he has, again, is treatable. The specific type of cancer that he has is, I'm going to completely butcher this, is oropharyngeal cancer. So he has a tumor like back here. And the type of tumor he has is super treatable. The mortality rate is super duper high, so I think that's a good thing. The good type of mortality rate. So again, really, really great. They were worried about his kidneys. His kidneys are fine. They were worried about his lungs. There was activity there they were worried about. Completely fine. So we're really great about that. Any good news that could happen with this bad news has happened, so we're really blessed. There's one little bump in the road. And the bump in the road has to do with they were supposed to get housing and they weren't able to get housing. It was booked. So they had to get a hotel, and they're going to have to stay in a hotel for 6 weeks. And because my dad is eating through a feeding tube, and because he gets really sick in cars, driving in cars, so it's very short distances for him. There was only really one hotel they could stay at that had a kitchen. There's close to the establishment that was within their price range, but it's still very expensive, specifically when you're looking at 6 weeks. So because me and my sister are strapped for cash, the perfumes I've been purchasing with gift cards or swaps. I really haven't been spending any money other than helping out my family as much as possible, donating to food, things like that. And I had to do, like the other week, the reason why this video is up and I only had 2 videos last week is I had to do a bunch of dental work, and we paid for that in cash, and that was $3,000. My sister has 2 kids. They're like crazy, you know, and they've got a lot of bills and things like that. So my parents have completely eaten through their savings. I started a GoFundMe, and people have been so generous. A bunch of you guys have donated. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I'm going to link it below if you guys would like to help out any way that you can. I don't expect monetary donations. If you do, that would be fantastic. But just your prayers are so appreciative and supportive, and just keeping my family in your thoughts. So thank you guys for that. To just kind of break it down for you guys, all of the expenses for them to stay up there is over $4,000, but they've had a majority of the stuff covered by friends. So I have the $4,000 up still so that it can help cover bills when they get back, because my dad's going to be out of work until December. So, but to cover their stay up there, it would be an additional $2,500. So that's what we're hoping for, so that way they don't have to worry about it or put it on credit or things like that. And obviously, like, my sister and I will cover whatever we can as more funds are being freed. So yeah, so that is the biggest question you guys were asking. That's their situation financially. That's my dad's situation, things like that. He should be done with his treatment in October. I'm really excited for that. And me and my husband will be making a trip up there for a few days, so my mom can come down here and just see the grandkids and things like that, and we'll be able to spend some time with my father. So that's the thing with my dad. This part of the video is really long because so many of you guys have asked questions about that, and I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys specifically about that situation. So now that that's being said, let's get into the questions for the video. So one of the questions I got is from Rebecca Rome, and she says, I have a question for you about where to get your perfumes to limit the chance that you'll get something fake. I've had a few bad experiences on eBay and in other few places. It could just be a risk you take when you collect perfume. Whenever you do not purchase something from an authorized retail vendor, so if you're not going to the fragrance counter and paying for it, or going to the boutique and paying for it, it is a risk. And I think some people who sell things on eBay, they might not even know that it's fake. They might have bought it, didn't like it because it wasn't what they expected, and sold it. And you know, I don't think a lot of people out there are generally trying to take advantage of you. I just think a lot of people out there are misinformed. And I would not buy anything super expensive that is really easy to have fakes of. There are certain designer brands out there that are fakes of all the time. There are certain niche houses out there that are faked all the time. Creed is one of those brands that you just have to be so careful because there's so many fakes out there. I think Amouage is one of them that they're starting to be more fakes up. Whenever you purchase from any place and you want to make sure you don't get something fake, make sure you purchase from a place that has a fantastic return policy. and that's something that I will recommend until you get confident in knowing what to look for, unless you have a disposable income, and if you get burned for $100, $200, $300, you're like, it's not going to be the end of the world for you. It is a risk that you take. So what I would do is, if you want to buy discount, which I understand wanting to buy discount fragrances are expensive, specifically as you're a collector, just educate yourself on batch codes. Educate yourself on how the packaging is going to look. Do not at all feel like you will be a nuisance if you contact the seller and maybe ask for additional information or additional images, especially when you're thinking about spending over $100 on a bottle. Be definitely proactive when it comes down to where you purchase and how you purchase, and the knowledge that you add to yourself in regards to purchasing. I know when I started purchasing discount fragrances, and I like to buy a lot of stuff on Depop and on Tradesy, I did a whole video series on that, I'll link it below. I had to be very careful, and the rule of thumb for me is I do not like to buy from those websites where it looks like there's just stock images, because if they're having stock images and they don't have a dedicated website like a Fragrance Net or a Max Aroma or Forever Luxe, I don't know how they're keeping the fragrances. I don't know if they're legitimate. I just don't know anything about the company, and I just kind of stay away from that. So if I'm going to purchase those fragrances, I will just go to Fragrance Net, Max Aroma, Forever Luxe, and places like that. But what I like to look for is people who seem like they're being genuine, like they're just selling a bottle. So when it comes down to purchasing from eBay or purchasing from Tradesy, I actually prefer when the bottle is opened. I prefer when the person said sprayed twice and here it is, because to me that shows that somebody got something as a gift or purchased something they didn't like and they're just getting rid of it. I tend to trust the horrible photography where it is kind of a semi-blurry picture on a bed, and then when you ask questions they answer really quickly because they want to get the fragrance from their house. Those are the people that I trust the most. That's just me particularly. So I would say is be very wary of eBay. There's a lot of scammers on eBay. I would say stick to eBay for decants, not full bottles. Decants, eBay is fantastic for decants. And just full bottles, make sure to really educate yourself and look at return policies, look at how much you're willing to spend, consider it. If it's fake, you're not going to get your money back and it's a loss, so make sure you're not spending too much. I think I'm going way more into this question that is needed, but it's always, to me, it's always buyer beware whenever you purchase from any gray market site, whenever you purchase from any Facebook group, whenever you purchase from any of these sites like Poshmark, Depop, or Tradesy. It's always buyer beware, so be very specific, ask again, and be very proactive with asking for questions. Did I answer your question? I don't know. So anyway, it doesn't matter where you get your fragrances, it's just a matter of how to make sure you don't get taken advantage of if something happens, because even big companies like Fragrance Net or Max Aroma, they are like authentic. I've never purchased anything from them and had any issue, but that doesn't mean that things can't slip in. That doesn't mean that somebody can't buy something and exchange it for a fake and get their money back and then have a real one. I know that that's maybe not how it works for those, but that's how it works. Like, I'll use an example. TJ Maxx has something called On the Runway or Off the Runway, where it's really inexpensive or cheaper, like off-season designer bags and clothes. So you can get Givenchy, you can get Gucci, you can get Saint Laurent, you can get Longchamp, you can get Chloe, you can get Celine. They're all like old inventory. So what would happen is that people would purchase these bags and they would return the bags, but the return would be a fake. So they would get these authentic bags for cheap and they would buy a really good fake and then they would return it, and the people that worked at the stores didn't know how to recognize a fake from a real one, and so they would take the return, and then there would be these fake bags in circulation for in TJ Maxx, and it was this huge deal. And that's kind of like the same thing, which I'm saying like with eBay, or the same thing with some of these sites. If you're not purchasing from an authorized retail vendor, you don't really know if they have the experience to be able to say, this isn't real, this is fake, I can't take this back, and then you don't have a fake fragrance in circulation. So that's kind of like what I'm saying. I don't know if I've made this even more complicated, but the best way to make sure that you're getting something authentic is to purchase from an authorized retailer, which usually means paying full price. Otherwise, just, you know, make sure that somebody has a really good reputation, read reviews, go on forum posts and see. If it's eBay, check out what people talk about the eBay seller. If it's websites like Fragrance Net or things like that, check out reviews, consumer reviews and return policies and things like that. You just have to be very informed, and it does take a little bit of time to get experience. So anyway, I hope that answered your question. Oh my gosh, this was so long. This question comes from my last perfume haul video, and it's from Nicole Kim. And where do you sell and buy pre-owned fragrances? Well, I sell on Depop. That's where you will find my stuff. I'll link them below, and it comes and goes. Also, you guys, if you see anything on Depop that you like, you don't have to purchase it. Just comment and see if you have something. I'm also willing to swap anything on Depop, so it's a sell or swap. Definitely check it out. I try to update it at least once a month. I go through my fragrances very frequently. And I buy on Depop. There's only 1 or 2 sellers that I trust those, so I'm very particular about what and there's not a huge selection on Depop, let's be real. Tradesy I love, and I did a whole video on this, and I'll link it below. The reason why I like Tradesy is that I feel like it's an untapped resource, so more people go there to sell than to buy. And so I found some amazing deals on authentic fragrances that I know are authentic, really super duper excited for. And so I really trust Tradesy. So Tradesy and Depop are the 2 places I would recommend. eBay, buyer beware. I really only recommend eBay for decants, maybe not full bottles. My cats are running around like crazy. They're climbing up. Maybe one of them won't pop into this video, we'll see. So Depop and Tradesy are the places I would recommend above others, but I also really like eBay for decants. So these questions come from my update video on my fragrance project. So this first one is from Sans Serif. Have we started building the scent, and what is in a Dirty Jasmine note? Okay, so we have not completely started building the scent yet. We have conceptualized the idea of how we want it to smell. I've basically said these are the notes I want to be most predominant. This is the feeling that I wanted to have. And again, I'm surrendering to her experience. The reason why we haven't started building it is because that takes time and resources, and I want to make sure Sarah is paid for first. So this project is not funded. I want to make sure that she's not SOL, and she wouldn't be. I would obviously pay for her for time, but I want to make sure specifically because of my family situation, I don't have extra money around to be able to pay for her time to have done that. So we haven't started building the scent, but it looks like the project will be funded in the next few weeks. I'm really excited. So we should be starting to build the scent soon, and I will keep everybody updated in regards to that. And what is in a Dirty Jasmine note? Okay, so I'll use citrus for example, and then we'll go to white florals. So citruses, there's a variety of different citruses, and each of them are citrus and bright, but they smell different. I'm not talking about smelling like orange, smelling like lemon, smelling like bergamot, smelling like lime. But some citruses are sharper and more biting, some citruses are more astringent, some citruses are more juicy, some citruses are a little bit sweeter. And in the case of bergamot, at least for me, it's more of a creamy citrus. Think of Earl Grey tea with milk and sugar. That's kind of like when I think of bergamot, that's how I smell bergamot, is a little bit creamier, it's a creamy citrus. And so what we're talking about a dirty jasmine note, we're talking about a jasmine note, but instead of it being an overtly sweet white floral, an overly indolic white floral, an overtly green jasmine note, we're going to be doing jasmine that's a little bit drier and grungier or dirtier. Think, and it's not going to smell like this, but et tu cigarettes, or jasmine et cigarettes, I know I mispronounced it, from It's Hot by Brandy Orange. Think jasmine kind of like that. It won't smell like that, but that's kind of the jasmine that we're going for. We're going for a more masculine floral note because that's going to pair better with the citrus opening and the leather base, which are the two notes aside from the jasmine that I want to be very predominant. So that's what I mean by dirty jasmine. So if you're not a fan of jasmine because you don't like that overly sweet, heady white floral, this might be a scent worth checking out because it's not going to be like that at all. This next question is for Jinga Bobo, and I love your Calvin and Hobbes icon. Are there any strong aldehydes in there? We're not sure yet. The fragrance hasn't been built. If we need aldehydes in the scent, if it needs that in there to balance it out or to make other notes sing, then it will be in there. But currently it is not, and that is not something I want for this fragrance. But again, it could be something that this fragrance needs, and Sarah can be like, this is magic, let's do this. So currently, as of now, it is not in the cards, but again, it could always change. Anyway, that's it, guys. I was going through to see if there was more questions, but most of the questions I actually already answered. So thank you guys so much for sitting through this Q&A video. I will be more than happy to do this more frequently if you would like. So let me know in the comment section below if you'd like to see these videos more frequently. And also make sure to ask questions on my videos or on Instagram if you would also like to see it, because if we get a lot of questions, specifically if some of them are the same type of questions, I'll be more than happy to sit down and talk to you guys. Interaction is the reason why I started this channel, and I would like to keep it up and learn from you guys, because you guys, I'm always learning so much from you, and I love to be able to talk and interact. So if you like these types of videos, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, because it's free and I'm free, and I put out new videos every Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends as well, so I'll always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy and have a great day, month, or whatever. And I'll see you next time. Bye.